Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Parr, and on this episode of Math Up to Par, we are going to be talking about strategies and some examples of multi-step word problems dealing with addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So let's talk about some strategies to solve multi-step word problems. When you're looking at a word problem, the reading comprehension is really important. So there's not just one way that you can go about solving a multi-step problem. There's many different ways, and different strategies work better for different people. Some people might find that it is helpful to draw a picture to kind of visualize what's going on in the problem and what information you might need to know. You might decide to act it out. Sometimes I do hand motions to kind of think through, okay, this is going here, this is going over here, and I know it seems silly, but that kind of helps me. You could make a list. You could make a list of things you need to know, things that are happening in the problem, what's going away, what's coming in. You can highlight important information in the problem. That could be keywords, that could be the numbers, just anything that you find that is important to solving the problem. You could also try a couple things and check to see if your answer is reasonable. Check to see if it makes sense when you say it back in the problem. Let's dive right in with some examples and let's work together to solve this multi-step problem. So it says, at the store, each bag of candy is $3. If Susie bought 8 bags of chocolate and 6 bags of lollipops, how much money did she spend on the candy in total? So I know that each bag is $3. Okay, she buys 8 bags of chocolate and 6 bags of lollipops. How much money did she spend on the candy in total? So I have 3 numbers here. I need to do several different things. A multi-step problems means that I have to do more than one step. So I can't just add, I can't just multiply, I can't just subtract. I've got to do multiple things here. So because each bag of candy is $3 and she buys 8 bags here and 6 bags here, you see how I kind of acted out? We need to figure out how much money she spent in total. So if I know she buys 8 bags of chocolate and 6 bags of lollipops, I'm going to put that together. So the first thing I'm going to do is add. Okay? So I'm going to add 8 plus 6. And that equals 14, okay? So then I need to know if she bought 14 bags of candy, that's not how much she spent because each bag cost $3. So that means she spent $3 on one bag, $3 on another bag, $3 on another bag, and I do that 14 times. Well, that's repeated addition. Repeated addition is the same thing as multiplication. I draw a little times symbol instead of writing out the word just to save myself some time. So I added first, now I'm multiplying, okay? So I need to multiply 14 bags of candy times $3 each. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. So that means that she spent $42 in total. I added and I multiplied. I could have done it in a different order. I could have multiplied 8 times 3, and 8 times 3 is 24. And I could have multiplied 6 times 3, which is 18. And then I could have added that up and gotten $42 that way. So sometimes there's a different order to go about solving a multi-step problem, but you do some of the same operations. Sometimes the order matters, sometimes it doesn't, okay? So the answer is 42. Let's try another one. So at the arcade, Tyvon won 41 tickets and he used 19 of them to get a toy. Afterwards, he won an additional 35 tickets during the day. How many tickets would he have at the end of the day if he didn't spend any more tickets? So let's see. He wins 41 tickets. He spends 19. So if I have 41 and I spend Okay, that sounds like subtraction to me. Then afterwards, he wins an additional 35, so that means he's getting more. So he has some, he spends some, and then he gets more, okay? So if I need to solve this problem, okay, he starts with 41, but then he uses 19. So I'm going to start with subtraction, okay? So I'm going to take my 41 tickets and I'm going to subtract 19. I am not going to talk through how I solve these problems in quite as much detail right now. You are more than welcome to check out my other videos to watch me explain that more, but I'm focusing more on the word problem right here. So he has 22 tickets after he spends them to get a toy, okay? But now he wins an additional 35. So he's getting more, so that's an addition problem. So I take 22 and I am adding 35, which means he gets 57 tickets. And that's how many he has if he doesn't spend any more throughout the day. Let's try another one. Sierra was selling Hershey bars for $2 each. If she started with 40 Hershey bars and had 9 left by the end of the day, how much money did she earn from the sale? Okay, she has Hershey bars, right? That's important. They are $2 each. So all your Hershey bars, they each cost $2. She starts with 40. So I picture a box of 40 Hershey bars, and she has 9 left by the end of the day. So all of that is important information. She's selling Hershey bars. She's got 40 of them. By the end of the day, she has 9. They cost 2. All these numbers rolling around. How do I make sense of them, and how do I solve this problem and figure out how much money she earned? Okay, so I could do this problem a couple different ways. I know they cost $2. I know she starts with 40 and she ends with 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm going to do a subtraction problem first. I'm going to take 40 Hershey bars and I'm going to subtract 9, okay? And when I do that, I see that I have 31 Hershey bars left, okay? That doesn't tell me how much money she earned though, because they each cost $2. So if she had 40 Hershey bars, she was left with 9. That means she sold 31 Hershey bars. Well, for each of those 31 Hershey bars, they cost $2. So that means this one's $2, this one's $2, this one's $2. Anytime you start repeating something like that, that's repeated addition, which is multiplication. So my next step is multiplication. So I'm going to take 31 Hershey bars and I'm going to multiply it by 2. And that means that she gets $62 from the sale. Man, she made a good amount of money. I need to start selling Hershey bars. Alrighty, Paul, our friend Paul, he bought 5 bags of peaches, with each bag having 7 peaches. All right, so Paul, he's carrying my 5 bags. I'll show you how I draw a picture sometimes. Here's my 5 bags. I don't make them look fancy. Maybe you're an artist and you can make them look a lot better. So he's got 5 bags of peaches, right? And each one has 7 peaches. I am not going to draw each of my peaches out, but I might draw 7 X's in each, like this. Or another way you can do it is just write the number in each. 7 in here, 7 in here, 7 in here, 7 in here, and 7 in here. Okay? So drawing a picture can look a couple different ways. So he has his 5 bags of peaches. Each bag has 7 peaches. But then he uses 20 peaches to make pies. Ooh, I would love a slice of peach pie right now. How many peaches were remaining? So that word remaining, I'm going to highlight that word too, because that word remaining kind of tells me what's left over. That gives me a hint that I'm going to be doing subtraction at some point here. So this picture right here, that looks like a multiplication problem to me. That's an equal groups problem. So if he bought 5 bags of peaches, 7 in each, the first thing I'm going to do is multiply. I'm going to multiply 5 times 7. Well, I know my strategy of skip counting by 5s, so I'm going to do 5 times 7 and see what that equals. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So that means I have 35 peaches, okay? We have 35 peaches, so 5 times 7 equals 35. Then he uses 20 peaches to make pies. How many were remaining? That tells me I'm going to subtract now. So I am going to take my 35 peaches, I'm going to subtract 20, and I am left with 15. So that means that I have 15 peaches left over, and that is my answer. All right, Chelsea had 14 boxes of beads to make bracelets, okay? Each box contained 38 beads. While carrying the boxes to a friend's house, she realized that 19 beads fell out. How many beads does Chelsea have left to make bracelets with? So let's see, she's got 14 boxes. Each box has 38. Ooh, that word each, okay, each box, 14 box, 38 beads here, 38 beads here, 38 beads here. That tells me multiplication's involved. While carrying the boxes to her friend's house, she realizes that 19 beads fall out. Well, if something's falling out, it's not there anymore, which means it's going away. And if something's going away, then it's subtraction. So 19 beads fall out. How many beads does she have left to make bracelets with? So my very first step is I'm going to multiply. Okay, I am going to multiply 38 times 14. That is a big problem to solve. Okay, so I am going to go ahead, whoops, and I am going to set that problem up and solve it. I solved it. So 38 times 14 is 532. Okay, so 532 is how many beads are in the box. It's a lot of beads, okay? But remember, 19 of them fell out. So that means my next step is going to be to subtract. So I am going to regroup over here. And that means that she has 513 beads left to make bracelets with. Okay, next problem. Katie, she has 27 DVDs. Sarah has 4 times as many DVDs. Between both of them, how many DVDs do they own? I only see 2 numbers here. Sometimes when we see 2 numbers, we think there's only one thing we need to do, but that's not the case here. So she has 27 DVDs. Sarah has 4 times as many DVDs. Times as many means I'm going to multiply. So I have 27 times 4. I'm going to multiply. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. That's 108. Well, it says between both of them, how many DVDs do they own? Okay, so look, Katie has 27 DVDs. Sarah has 108 DVDs. Between both of them, you got to put it together, which means you need to add. Okay, so that means I'm going to take 108 plus 27, and I get 135 DVDs between the 2 of them. So just because you see 2 numbers doesn't mean it's only one step. You sometimes have to do something more. So as you can see, there are a lot of different ways that you can go about solving a multi-step problem. Sometimes different problems can seem trickier than others, and sometimes that's true. But don't try to tackle it all at once. Break it into pieces. Draw that picture. Act it out with your hands. Make a list of important information. I was always highlighting and underlining things that I needed to know. And then sometimes trying it out and just giving something a try if you're not sure what to do and thinking, does that make sense? But I wish you guys the best of luck with all of your multi-step word problems. Thanks for listening and happy practicing.